welcome to MGP496. I'm Kevin. With me as ever, the sheepdog Anna and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls.
Hello.
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 Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the most wonderful time of the year. Almost the most wonderful time of the year is next week when we do the Google Zeitgeist Review of the Year show. This week, though, it is the official Game of the Year 2022. Note, I didn't say the Mature Gamer Podcast Game of the Year or any of that nonsense. This isn't just, we're not just deciding what our favourite game is. We're not just deciding what the podcast thinks the best game is. Over the course of the next hour or so, we are going to be telling you what the best game released in 2022 is. And that is official. You're not allowed to argue with it. That is just how it is. There'll probably be a poll that appears on the Twitter at some point. Click whatever you want. Frankly, it doesn't matter. What we're about to tell you is the Game of the Year 2022. And I'm very, very excited about it. Are we all excited?
Yeah, I am excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to hearing Pab's plans. It's not often someone says they're going to try and defeat me.
I'm nervous.
He's had 2 weeks to think about it, so I just want to see.
He's paid me off. You're ruined, sheepdog. You haven't got a chance.
See.
I've been paid off.
Wish they had thought of that.
I mean, it's not too late, Pabby. I did put my Amazon wish list in the group chat just before the podcast for a reason.
If you want
to slip me a little receipt, letting me know there's a pizza oven on the way, I'm sure I'll change my thoughts and vote your way when the time comes. That goes for all of you.
Check behind you.
You've got me a
Kevin,
Preston shirt.
Have you seen the mountain of presents?
Yeah.
Is there a pizza oven in there?
Have you seen the mountain of presents, Kevin?
So I have to agree with you. Is that what you're saying?
Have you seen the mountain
Yes.
of presents, Kevin?
So I have to go with what Anna says.
Anna.
Anna, as usual, me and Anna have had the same discussion we have for Game of the Year every year that goes a little bit like this. I can't find 5. Well, you've played. I gave her a list of games that came out in 2022. I know you've played like 10 of them. Just pick your 5 favourites. Yeah, but there's only a couple of them that are top 5. Yeah, but that's literally not how it works. You just pick your favourite 5. Even if number 5 is rubbish, you pick it. That's how it works.
On this. It is embarrassing to have to sit there and go, okay, this game is a game I played and liked, but I don't consider it to be a top 3 game. But I know that ruins the format if we all pick a top 3. So it is hard picking a game where you're like, I like it enough to mention it, but I don't like it enough to fight for it.
I think it's just clear that none of us play enough games that we can't. When we
not
first
that.
started doing this, we used to have to narrow down to a 5.
It's because there were lots of games this year got delayed to 2023. So all the games that I was like, yeah, I'm going to play this, everything got delayed. So
but there were loads of good games that came out this year.
Was there?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
yeah. I mean, hold on. Let me go on to. I'm going to read. But this isn't me voicing any opinions
or
anything along those lines. I'm just going to read you a list of games that came out this year.
I felt like our standards might have changed as well, though. Like back then, every game was pretty cool, and now we're a little bit like that game was fine. Wouldn't call it Game of the Year, and that's what's the mind barrier for me.
So, without even having to scroll on Google, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, Stray, Bayonetta 3, 2 Point Campus, Ghostwire Tokyo, Ollie Ollie World, Goat Simulator 3, Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Evil Dead, The Game, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide, Sifu, Hello Neighbor 2, Dying Light 2, Stay Human, Splatoon 3. There's hundreds of games that came out this year.
All them things you said, I played probably 1.
No, I know you've played 5 of those.
You've
Anna.
played Stray, you've played 2 Point Campus, you've played Tiny Tina's Wonderland.
Dying Light 2.
Did he say that?
You've played Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. You've watched Andy play Goat Simulator 3.
I sat there, I made sure it worked. I don't know if it's good or not.
I didn't think this through. I should have consulted with Anna beforehand, and I only thought about it just now. Realistically,
you've done a Pab, haven't you?
You've picked a load of games that you're the only one who's mentioned and played.
No, I picked a load of games. I was second guessing Anna, and now I'm thinking I don't know if I have.
Do you know what I realised after I'd picked my 5? I made a game this year. I released a game this year. I bet none of you bumheads even played it.
I didn't even know you'd done that.
No, I didn't. What? When?
I talked about it on the podcast. I released a game end of April.
Doesn't ring any bells.
It was Market Meltdown. It was called. It was about going to the supermarket as an autistic person and having to deal with the fact that
that's why I do it online.
I mean, this doesn't sound like Game of the Year material.
Well, you know, it had Sheepdog's witty banter in it.
Oh, good lord, yeah. If I'd have known about it, which I didn't, I don't think I'd have put it in my 5.
Well, no. I mean, I forgot about it until I'd already written the list.
It was that good. Mega Stand 2, everybody.
I was literally just like writing away, and then I thought, yeah, I released the game like 8 months ago, and didn't even occur to me to put it on the list. So that's my secret 6th placed game. Well, it's probably not. There was quite a few I had to cut out, but yeah, no, I released the game. That's shame on you all for not even knowing, especially the listeners.
You didn't know. You've literally just said you forgot. How are we supposed to remember if you forgot?
Well, I forgot, but I knew. I know it exists. You're there going, this is the first I've heard of it. I talked about it on the podcast.
How many videos have I released this year, Sheepdog? Do you know all of them? I don't know all the games you've released. You don't know all the videos I've released. I think that's reasonable. No, you don't. What did I release on the 17th of October?
How am I supposed to know that?
Exactly. Anna knew. Anna was right there. Football Manager. She knows. I should probably just bring the listeners up to speed on how the format for this works. I know we haven't brought in a new listener in about 6 years at this point, but just in the off chance that anyone is new and hasn't heard us do the game of the year before, it works thusly. All 4 of us will present our 5 games of the year as a short list of 5. We can talk about games that were near misses as well if we want to. We can have a little bit of a chat around those games and make a case for why those games should be put forward. And then what we're effectively trying to do is, from our 4 shortlists of 5, which could be as many as 20 games, but usually isn't, there's usually some overlap, we're going to try and narrow it down to a final 4 for the podcast as a whole. Now, often you'll see patterns start to emerge where maybe 2 or 3 of us will put forward the same game, and then it's obvious that one's going through into the final 4. But it sometimes gets pretty tricky if none of us agree on anything, and we are going to have to do some horse trading and negotiation to agree on what our 4 is. It's not a simple vote. We don't believe in democracy here. We will horse trade our way to a final 4, and at that point, from the final 4, we will then vote between us. Democracy then does become a thing, and we'll agree between the 4 of us what the game of the year 2022 is, and we'll also put that final 4 as a poll on Twitter if it still exists by tomorrow when this podcast comes out, and you lot can have your say as well. And if previous years are anything to go by, we'll never even reference that there was a vote that you lot could vote in. We'll just forget it happened. But you'll know you voted in it, and that'll make you feel good, probably. That pretty much explains how it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think I tend to look at it and tell you the results, but it's usually after next week's episode that I remember to check and tell you.
Yeah, you don't do it in the podcast.
No.
Which is the crucial thing for the listener's point of view, because as I've tried to explain to you in the past, they rarely listen in on our private conversations.
Kev says you're welcome to Pab at the end, and then I suddenly go, oh yeah, I should check Twitter. That's just how my brain works.
I might say you're welcome partway through and see if you just disappear off onto Twitter and do your thing.
Checking it now because you just said it.
Aha! Excellent stuff. So I suppose we can jump straight into it and get started. I know we've not done our traditional preamble of talking about whatever shenanigans we've all got up to over the course of the previous week, but I haven't really got up to any shenanigans. It's the run up to Christmas. I've been a busy boy, making sure this house is spick and span. Making sure Anna pulls her weight. Like before the podcast today, when I had to burst into Anna's office when she was ready to do the podcast and yell at her because she hadn't hung the coats up and there was other stuff I'd asked her to do as well.
Rubbish everywhere, a coat hanger on the floor. You just hadn't moved anything.
This is the opposite of how I remember it. I remember me telling Anna she'd done that stuff. And that's why we delayed the start of the podcast slightly, which you lot don't know about, but now you do. So I'm a little bit cross with Anna at the moment because of that.
Excuse me.
So we've got I assume we have each prepared a short list of 5. We've not got anyone who's you can't have 4. You've got to have 5. I'm going to make you go first. You'll have to come up with a 5th.
No,
I'll pick your 5th for you.
I do have 5. I was just messing.
Yeah.
Anna's messing with Kev. That's not often that happens.
Yeah, see, this is unacceptable. This is what she's been like all day.
Excuse me?
She's trying
You made me cry in the kitchen, Kevin.
Oh, Kev. Are you cutting onions again?
I was, yes. We had a lovely onion soup for dinner. Traditional Christmas onion soup. So, who wants to go first with their 5 then?
Ladies
Do we have a
first.
volunteer? Pab, then over to you.
I'm not going first.
Well, I'll go first then, if that's how you're going to be.
Why not, Pab? I want to know why. Hang on.
Because he wants to do it tactically. That's why he doesn't want to go first. He hasn't got a set 5 at the moment. He's going to wait and see what me and you do. And then wait. Pab wants to go last. He's going to see what all 3 of us do. And then he'll do his 5 tactically at the end. And be
I
like,
think he has to go first then. I don't think he should be allowed to do this.
I've got a floating 5.
You can't have a floating 5.
Name
They're
them
not
now.
the rules of this.
Mine are written down, Pab. In ink.
Mine are written down.
My pen
Yeah, but
ran
you've
out
got
of ink
15
midway through
games
the
on your
third
list.
one.
That doesn't count.
That's not the point.
Get right in
That's
now.
exactly the point.
Get
You
speaking
absolute
now,
monster.
sorry.
This is cheating.
Pab goes first. I won't have it any other
Yeah,
way.
he cheats
Oh,
at the
fine,
Google
I'll go.
Zeitgeist. And
No,
he's
Anna,
cheating at
Pab's
this.
cheating.
Number
Pab's cheating.
5.
No, Pab's first, Anna. He's cheating.
Pab's trying to be tactical.
Yeah, he does this in the Zeitgeist as well. He has his little
Yeah, he is
notepad
a
out.
monster.
It's filth. Come on, you filth.
I'm sorry, right, but I've got to do this
No,
because
you ain't getting away with another
the
one.
Pokemon block is too powerful, and if I don't do this, we're going to get whitewashed with Pokemon nonsense.
Well, I tell you
So I
what,
have
Pab.
to do it.
Tell you what, Pab. As a special treat, then we'll let Anna go first, but you're going second. That's the
Okay.
best offer you're getting.
Okay. I mean,
So, Anna,
yes.
would you like to take us through your 5?
So number 5 is Horizon Zero Dawn. It's all right, but
Do you
I got
mean-
bored.
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
Yep, that one.
Okay.
I told you, my brain
No,
has
that's
gone.
fine.
because
I know what you mean.
That one that came out this year,
Yes.
at some point. That's number 5. Number 4 is Tiny Tina Wonderland. Too many snakes in it, but it was all right. I did like.
Is that the full
many
title? I
snakes.
love that.
Pardon? What'd you say, Kevin?
What do you mean there's too many snakes?
There's
I
too
said,
many-
is that the full name of it? Tiny Tina's Wonderland with too many snakes?
There is too many like snake viper things. I don't know why there was so many of them, but there were just too many of them.
This is a Borderlands game, isn't it?
It is a board, well, kind of. But I did like when you had a beanstalk to go up, and I did like when you were shrunk into a tiny, tiny, tiny person, and you went into this room and had to defeat a wizard. That bit was fun, but I couldn't finish the game because it was too hard and I didn't understand. how to
Really?
beat
You
it.
haven't finished? There's a Borderlands game you've
I
not finished?
got to the final boss and could not finish it, and then another game came out, so I just put it away. I'll go back to it. I've already started it like twice again, just to play it, So I did that, and then my 3rd is Dying Light 2, because apparently, according to my my thingamajig, the PlayStation thing, I put a lot of hours into it. Don't know how or where or why, but a lot of that time was hiding from monsters, so that's how it adds up. I was sneaking a lot and the monsters were around and I was just sat there going, go away, go away, go away, go away. So, but apparently I spent a lot of hours in it. It was good. I liked the atmosphere. Didn't understand the story or didn't understand how you had powers. Again, never finished it because the game came out. But it was alright. I'll probably go back to it. It's just it. Then the second one is The Ascent. Look, I really like this game. It's on Xbox. It's on Play. Well, it came out on Xbox, like on the Game Pass. And I was like, I'll give it a go. And I gave it a go, and I liked it until I couldn't get past this boss because again, I didn't understand the game. I don't play it's like a top-down, isometric Diablo style.
Is this what you were playing when we were on holiday on
Exactly.
the PlayStation?
So I obviously
okay.
liked
I did have
it.
a little. I gave this a little side eye occasionally.
Because I obviously liked it because then I bought it on the PlayStation 5 and I've played it, I played it at home, I played it when I was on holiday, I had God of War with me, but I played that instead because it's just
Is Pab about to throw up that this came out last year?
It did.
Oh, it did not!
Yeah, maybe 2021.
On what?
On
Xbox.
Xbox,
Release date
there you go.
2021, 29th of July.
Disqualified.
I only saw it this year.
That doesn't count.
Oh, I'll put Hollow Knight in then, shall I?
Oh, God.
No, we can't have Hollow Knight as well.
I'm sure you can move another one up. It's an honourable mention. I mean, I've got so many honourable mentions. I played through Persona 4 Golden again this year. Can I have that? Loved that.
But I thought it only came out this year, so, because it was on the list that you gave me. I saw it on the list, so I added it.
That list on Wikipedia can be a little misleading because it does include all the re-releases as well. So you do have to
So
be on top
annoying.
of what's a re-release and what's
Well,
a.
let's go with your number one then, Anna, and then because
Oh,
I have
God of War
something.
Add another
Ragnarok,
one.
obviously.
Okay.
God of War Ragnarok.
It's
and then
just the best. It's so just like I cried in it, and I could feel like I have a son, so I know how it feels to have a son and just
Have you finished it now?
no, because I don't want it to
Okay.
end.
I finished it.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
I'll probably finish it. I don't know, in between the Christmas and New Year when it's Christmas is done, everyone's got their toys and what, and they leave me alone, and I'll probably just pop it on. I'm not far. I don't think I'm far from the end. I've just done like an island with a dragon on, well, with multiple dragons.
It doesn't mean anything to me because I definitely didn't.
Oh, you didn't do the side
I
quest.
I mainlined that thing and I did it in 25 hours.
Oh,
and
jeez. Okay, so like I'm like
I think
what,
it's I
45,
did it.
50.
I did it dirty. To be fair, doing that.
You are missing out a lot.
I think I did. I missed a lot, but I know the story. I know how it goes, and I know the main plot points or whatever.
But why? So. Why play it like that? Why not go do the side
because
quests?
I didn't like the combat enough to want to do all the stuff, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't realise how close I was to the end, sort of thing.
Right.
And I could have done more things, but then I was thinking, I've got games that I need to play for this podcast and stuff like that. So I was like thinking, I was Christmas stuff as well, and I'm thinking, I just don't know if I've got time to do this before today's episode that we're recording right now. So I thought, let's just get it done, and there is ability to go back in the world afterwards.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't miss. I don't know what happens at the end. So
that's all I'll say.
Anna, I have posted a link in the chat for games released in 2022. So you can have a flick
I've got
through.
one.
Hold
on.
I've got one that you might want, Anna.
That's cheating.
No, only because I know full well this is a game that Anna really liked.
What was it?
Tiny Kin.
Oh my god, yes! Tiny King. I finished this game in a weekend. It is like, I've probably put that at number 2 where their scent was Tiny King. Mm-hmm. Everyone needs to play it. You are a small person in a massive world. I love that kind of aesthetic. Oh my god, I can't believe more people haven't played this. It is an excellent game. It's on, Game Pass. Everyone needs to go and play this. Kids will love this. Adults will love this because like you don't have to go and do all like the side bits, but you can if you want to. But oh my god, it's so. I need to go and play that now.
So what were you going to say before Pab?
I was going to say Ghostwire because that was fun to play. It was like Japanesey. Like you could slash them with like this magical whip, and it was all just weird, and it was like a horror, but wasn't like a scary horror. There was floating cats that would talk to you.
I'm in.
There was like these mushroom things that you would have to go and find. That not mushrooms. They were raccoons, and they had changed into like statues. And one was a mushroom, and that's hit him, and it was a raccoon, and he talks to you. It's just a mad game. I need to go and play that again, actually, because I got to like the final bit and then didn't end it because again, I was enjoying it. I didn't want to, but it was a very weird game. But it's good. But Tiny King, yes, definitely number 2. I completely forgot about that. But everyone needs to play that game. Sheepdog, you need to go and play it. Sheepdog, Ollie needs to go and play it. Ollie would love this game. He
good shout.
would
He's getting
die.
his new machine on Sunday, so he can jump in and have a crack at that. I'll tell him.
Definitely Tiny King. Well done, Pab, for reminding me. So
I'm gonna have to download this.
It's amazing.
It is
Tiny
good.
Tim.
Tiny Kin, yeah.
Tiny
K-I-N.
Kin.
Oh,
K-I-N.
Tiny Kin. There we go. I see it. Tiny Kin. That's
Very good
not even
game.
how I've spelt it when I've put it on the list here. I didn't know what you two were saying.
Tinykin.
No, I see it now. Yeah.
I googled Tiny King with a G, and
I think it was a weird
there was all these books about a little king, and I was just like, I don't think that's it.
No,
might have
that is a game I did finish this year in a weekend. Kevin was away somewhere, and it was
This is why. Yeah, I'm going to say this might be why I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm now trying to have a look to see if it's on Steam or Switch,
It's on
so
Steam,
I can play
and
it.
it runs on Steam
It's
Deck
on Steam, is
amazingly
it?
well.
Right, we're getting that downloaded now. Please be in the Steam sale. That would be amazing.
It
is discounted at the moment on Steam. It's £15.59 with
Definitely
20% off.
It's not bad.
So we'll get
Very
that
good
downloaded
game.
now. Beautiful work. So, Pabby,
Yes.
despite the fact you've just fixed it,
Well,
'cause I
no,
imagine
it
that one's
didn't
going to
fix it,
miraculously
but
be
you
in your
told me
top
the
5,
Ascent
isn't it?
hadn't come out this
Monster.
year. So, what was I supposed? Because I only knew about it this year. I saw it on the Xbox, bought it on the PlayStation because it was at not full price, but full price for this type of game. So I thought it came out this year, and it was on the list. So, kinda not. I didn't do it on purpose.
On the
so.
plus side, unless Kev loads it up now and has literally the best 30 minutes of his life,
Well, my Steam Deck's upstairs, so it ain't going to happen.
I was going to say, he ain't going to win, is it then?
It's really good though.
Go on, Pabby. Show us what you got.
Number 5, Tinykin.
What an incredible surprise.
Shocking.
I've only played about 2 hours this game. That's how confident I am in this game being one of the best games of the year.
Oh, nice. I'm happy with that.
I've only played 2 hours simply because I inadvertently wiped my save.
No.
I did it, the entirety of that bedroom, the entirety of every single thing to do in that bedroom.
Yeah.
And I did every single side thing, every single thing that you wanted you to do. And then the game was glitching out when I turned it back on. I think it didn't like the controller input. It wanted me to use mouse and keyboard, and I inadvertently pressed the wrong thing on the controller, and it started a new game.
Oh,
so it just wiped, just started a whole new game, and I was like, right, I'm not playing it
Not
on Game
doing
Pass
it.
now. I'm just gonna wait for it on Steam so I can play it on the Steam Deck, which is what I've been waiting for the Steam sale for. So that is why I intend to get it in the Steam sale and play it on the Steam Deck. But it is a very, very, very cool game. Like you say, like tiny character in big world, in like real sized world, and it's amazing. It's so very good. Number 4, I've gone with Immortality. It's also on Game Pass, I think, and I think it's on iOS and Android with a Netflix account. You could play this
What
on
now?
Netflix.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen
Yeah.
Netflix games shown
Yeah.
at me, but I've never clicked into it to see what it is.
Yeah, Immortality is in there.
What was it? Choose your own adventure then?
No. Well, do you remember Her Story from years ago? Where
Yeah, on phones.
yes, so it was on phones, it was on many different things and on PC, but where you were searching, you were going through different footage from a police interview, and you were trying to piece together the story.
Yeah.
So
Do you
this
know what I
one you
did find today? I was just, I was going through Apple Arcade, and Ni no Kuni is on iOS. Just thought I'd put that in there.
there is a Ni no Kuni game, a mobile
yeah,
game.
I'm just looking
yeah.
at it now. I saw it. I was like, Ni no Kuni on the mobile. How does that work? But
It's not.
yeah.
It's not the Ni no Kuni game. There's an actual Ni no Kuni mobile game.
Okay.
So yeah, Immortality is similar to Her Story, where you have several scenes from 3 different films, and you're trying to figure out the story of how the main actor in the film disappears, and you're just trying to piece it out through. You get a scene, and you can basically click on anything in the scene, and then it'll bring something similar up in another scene, and you'll then watch that scene. So, for example, you would see a lamp in the scene, you would click it, and then it would move to another scene with a lamp in it, and it would play that scene out, and then you can scrub back and forward through that scene and see if anything else you want. So say you wanted a red dress, so then you would click on that, and it would take you to another scene with a red dress in it. And this spans across 3 separate films, which are all made, which were never released or whatever they're saying, and you're trying to figure out who this person was and where she went. And it goes places. it goes places. It's fascinating. Just the whole mechanism of how it works initially is fascinating. Of how you click this and how the AI recognizes what you've clicked and it finds it in another scene and goes, okay, this is what you wanted. It's not 100% perfect because it's an AI. It's not spot on finding something exactly every single time, but that was the fascination for me initially, and I spent hours just clicking, going, where can it take me? And it was just showing me different scenes. And sometimes a repeat would show up, and you'd go and find something different. But then
apparently this is verified on Steam Deck as well. I'm just noticing.
Yeah,
as well.
probably
so that's
is.
2 games you've made me buy. You absolutely turd.
It's on Game Pass, like I say. It's on Netflix. You could play it on your iPad on the Netflix.
I have a Steam Deck. I will play on a Steam Deck.
Well, you can do that. Apparently, the way to play it is with a controller because the controller vibrates when certain things are happening in the game, which I didn't have any of that because I'm on mouse and keyboard. I just played mouse and keyboard and it was fine. But like I say, this game goes places and it is weird. It is absolutely bizarre and kind of stayed with me for a while afterwards as to what it happened. I don't even know if I finished. I saw credits and I don't know if there's anything else after that. I just turned it off and went, okay, I'm satisfied. I've had an ending. I don't know whether it's a good ending or a bad ending, but it happened, and I don't fully know what went on. But it was a weird experience, and it was fun to play. Like I say, I played it for but I reckon I probably put at least 6 hours at least, probably more. I just lost an entire evening one night just doing the searching, scrolling through stuff, and just seeing what I could like click on to bring up different things. And it would also like bring up it wouldn't just bring up scenes from the film; it would also bring like snippets from before and after the scene as well, so after the scene has been cut. So yeah, it's a very good one of them. Good FMV game. Number 3 is God of War Ragnarok. I like it. I like it a lot. I don't like it as much as the first one.
Yeah,
I think the story was better in the first one.
Yeah.
I think in places they want to stretch their legs with this story, but they've already said they were only going to put it into 2 games. They didn't want to make it 3 games.
No.
They only ever said they wanted to make 2 games because they didn't want to make people wait 10 years for the end of the story. This second one's taken 5 years to get to this.
Is that it? Is that how long it's been?
Yeah, they don't want to make people wait another 5 years to get to the ending. So they put it all into it, and like I say, I think at times it feels like sometimes it gets a bit truncated. But yeah, I finished it. There is some moments where it is like jaw dropping. You're like, oh my god, you know what I mean? It's just some stunning things, and then yeah, and there's some very good moments in it. So I don't think it's a bad game. I don't think it's a bad game at all. I just, like I say, I just prefer it.
I think the first one was more emotional because it was like a whole journey with his son. Like he's never really been close to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I feel like is a bit more. You are the son. You are Atreus finding out who he is, sort of thing. Kind of trying to that feels like that's the main story of it, and Kratos is just along for the ride.
I do love Kratos, though. He is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes, God of War Ragnarok. Number 2 is Horizon Forbidden West. I think this is the only platinum I've done this year.
You platinum? Wow.
Oh yeah. It's not a million. Once you've done the whole game, I say it's not a million miles away, but it's not. It's achievable to get because it's mainly just like camps and certain things. And
I got
to
like the 3 main objections, and then it was like you got to go on this. I was like, I can't be bothered. Do you know what I mean? It was that. It was just.
See, that's the thing. That's where as soon as you get them 3 main things, that's where it kind of opens up the story wise.
Yeah.
And the whole each of the 3 different ones are all so vastly different of the different ways you've got to go, and they're all very interesting. I think for me, the story is in Forbidden West is better than God of War. And I find it hard saying that. I wouldn't have said that at the start of the year. I could not have said that. I would not have thought I'd be saying that at the start of the year. But I just think I think the actual. I think the side quests are more interesting. I don't know that for certain. But yeah, it is that. It's been fun. I enjoyed playing it. Like I say, enough to want me to platinum it, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the DLC that was announced at the Game Awards.
Was it DLC for
These are the Game Awards, Pab.
No, the Game Awards.
Inferior Game Awards. These are the Game Awards. Some knockoff Game Awards.
Off-the-shelf award.
Set in LA, I think the DLC is.
Yeah, they're knockoff ones.
Choose your own game award.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not above taking a massive sack of cash to pick a game of the year, to be honest, but no one's ever asked.
The number one for me is... What do you think it is?
From what I've had, I tend to browse the internet when you speak, so I don't know.
Don't know, you know.
I've spent 161 hours in this
Fortnite.
game. It's not Fortnite didn't come out this year. It is.
We promise we all listen to you every week,
Yes,
Pab,
it
but
is
no
Elden
idea.
Ring.
Of course it is.
Well, yeah.
Sorry, mate.
I've heard you say that before, I think.
Yes.
Yes, Elden Ring is amazing.
It's one of those
I keep seeing it for
Metroidvanias,
£30 on the PlayStation. Like, shall I?
Yeah,
Oh my
I
God,
have.
Loves a
put it in the
roguelike
bin.
Metroidvania.
Pardon?
People keep telling me, get it, it's 35 quid. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm just going to get angry with it.
Yeah, that's me. I'll get angry with it. I couldn't play Demon Souls or all them other games because they just annoy me so much for getting killed all the time. So, but yeah, £30.
One day I'll get it when it's like a fiver.
It's very good. It's open world, and it lets you explore wherever you want, and pretty much just do what you want, sort of thing. If you want to go, it leads you in a certain direction, but you don't have to follow that direction. If you don't want to, if it points you, say,
Well,
go
so
in,
it's like Fallout where you go, there's where your sun is, but there's something over there that's shining. It's like that kind of open world.
It can be that. It can also be that's where you need to go, and you go, okay, I'll go and have a look. Get slammed around for 20 minutes and go, okay, I'm not going to go there yet. That's where that is the objective, but I'm not ready for that. So I'm going to scurry around the outskirts of everything else for a little bit, see what else is in this world, and then go from there. It's so good. I mean, it's so good to the point of like I was playing this last night. I played it last night again for another hour and a half. Just doing some like I'm a New Game Plus now, so I just started doing like the main like first castle in the world. Did beat the boss first try because I'm massively overpowered for it, and just found myself having a blast, just wandering through, just doing it, and thinking this game is special. It really is, and I'm not saying it won. It did win the Game of the Year at the Game Awards. It doesn't mean anything, as Kev said. Awards. It doesn't mean anything. But yeah, you'll see this. You'll see Elden Ring on the top of many a list this year. Almost.
You know where you won't see it in our Final Four. That's where you won't blooming see it.
But I'm making people who know
making
will
people
know.
aware of it.
People who know will know. And
yeah.
I
did explain to someone earlier. I said we're doing our Game of the Year tonight. I said we've been going a decade, so all the hardcore gamers have stopped listening now. So we'll get away with our votes. Like if we'd have been doing this in year one, it'd have probably caused us a lot of grief.
Nah, we'd have been fine. Pabby, put an advert in, and then it's Pokemon time.
Right, well, I'm going to go upstairs.
No, you're not. You've still got to vote yet, or else Pab's master plan is ruined if you leave now. That'd be fantastic.
I need this can't happen.
Right, so my 5. Now, I would like to put a disclaimer out before I do my 5, because I feel like my gaming year has been ruined by 2 things when it comes to the Game of the Year. Thing number 1 is the Steam Deck. because that coming out early on in the year has meant rather than playing new games when they've come out, I've been going back and playing stuff that's been in my Steam library for years, or older games, or things that have been on my to-do list and I've never got around to. Like, I replayed Persona 4 Golden in full this year on the Steam Deck.
This year.
I know it didn't. It's not on my list. This is my disclaimer. I played Horizon Forbidden West. No, Zero Dawn, the first one.
You did.
I played that for the first time this year just because I could play it on there. And I played loads of stuff on there that had been out from previous years, but obviously none of it counts. The other thing that I'm blaming for this pitiful list that I'm about to put forward is my own falling down rabbit holes, which has happened on a couple of occasions this year. And again, it's problematic. Earlier in the year, I went down a real Pokemon rabbit hole where when Diamond and Pearl came out at the end of last year. So I played through that, really enjoyed it. And then Arceus came out immediately, and I really enjoyed that. Because I enjoyed them so much, I then went back and played Sword and Shield again, and then went back and played the other one out of Diamond and Pearl that I hadn't played the first time around. So I ended up playing like 5 consecutive Pokemon games, and then the Steam Deck came out. And then I went back and found Fire Emblem because Pab told me that existed, and that doesn't count. So this is all my way of saying this list is pathetic, and I acknowledge it's pathetic because I really struggled to find 5 games that came out this year. I'm looking at them now. I only finished 2 of these so far. So my 5... And I'm ashamed of myself. It was my slightly longer shortlist includes Sonic Frontiers and Marvel Midnight Suns that I only played demos of at conventions. That's how desperate this is. So on my list we have got Stray, because I enjoyed Stray to the point where not only did I play it on, was it the Xbox or the PlayStation this came out on initially, or both? Or there was a way to get it free initially, whichever one I could get it free on. I did play the first few hours of it on there, and enjoyed it enough to then go and get it on the Steam Deck as well, and then played the same first bit again. So I've played the first bit a couple of times, but I haven't finished it, but I will go back to it eventually. It is fun. It's available and everything, and it's just a lot of clambering about as a cat. I like clambering, and I like being a cat. So I did enjoy Stray, but, I mean, if this makes it to the end, it won't. But if it did, I'd be embarrassed that I put it forward, because I haven't come close to finishing it, and I'm not gagging to go back and do any more of it. One that I did really enjoy and play a huge amount of is 2 Point Campus. I played absolutely loads of 2 Point Campus. This was another rabbit hole one for me, because I played through 2 Point Campus over the course of a few weeks, enjoyed it so much that I went back and did 2 Point Hospital, which had kind of passed me by the first time around. But I went back and did that and some of the DLC for that as well. But I absolutely loved 2 Point Campus. I think there is some DLC for that that's just come out recently that I haven't done and didn't realise until I was trying to find 5 games I'd played this year, and I clicked on 2 Point Campus on my Steam Deck and I was like, oh, hang on, there's more stuff I can download now. So I enjoyed this so much that I will dip back into it and do the DLC stuff that's on there as well. But 2 Point Campus was great. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I mentioned it before. It was part of my Pokemon rabbit hole. Really enjoyed it. First open-ish world, like open area Pokemon game. Lots of fun. We've talked about it extensively. You don't need to tell me. You don't need me to tell you why Pokemon is any good. I'm sure Sheepdog's about to. And on the Pokemon thing, obviously Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as well. Enjoyed that so much that I know I fell down the Pokemon rabbit hole a few times this year, but it was the first time ever, going back to the 90s when I originally played Pokemon Blue. This was the first time I've enjoyed a Pokemon game so much that I played it all the way through to the end, and then immediately, not even the next day, immediately just swapped the cartridges out, put the other one in, and then played the other one all the way through as well. I played both of these all the way through to the end game point, to the point where I could do the Charizard raid with both of them, and absolutely loved it. I know it's got its technical issues. I'm a Football Manager YouTuber. Technical issues don't affect me. I am immune to them. I don't care about technical issues. I just absolutely loved being able to just wander around an open world catching Pokemon. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. And I know Pab will be desperately against this being put forward because it makes us a laughing stock, but it's going to be on there because Sheepdog liked it too. So no. And then the last one is, again, I feel a little bit uneasy putting it on because it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which did come out this year, and I'm now like 30 hours into this and really enjoying it. The story in this is fantastic. I know I talked a little bit last week about the cutscenes being a little bit excessive, but I'm now at a point where there's still a lot of cutscenes. It's a JRPG. There's a lot of cutscenes, but I have now got a little bit more freedom on it. I've got access to what I think is going to be the whole map. I'm going off doing my own thing. The little storyline stuff that develops in it is fantastic. However, the big asterisk I have to put on the side of this is apparently this game is like 100 to 150 hours long. So being 30 hours in, I am still a long way from being able to say experience this in full. However, I have enjoyed it enough that I've already bought the first two to go straight onto for another rabbit hole once I'm done with it. So at some point in the next month or so, I'll finish 3 and then I'll go back and do 1 and 2. And it's incredible. It genuinely is really good, to the point where I am now looking into other JRPGs that I could maybe go and experiment with, because I feel like this might be. I even said to Anna earlier, and I had to whisper it quietly, but I actually think this coming year might be the year I play a Final Fantasy game all the way through.
Yeah,
I think I'm getting that far into JRPGs now, and I also went as far to say it's weird actually. This is a verbatim conversation between me and Anna earlier today. This is what made her cry about the onions in the kitchen. But I did say it's weird because the podcast's obviously been going like 10 years. We're nearly 500 episodes in, and it originally started because me and Sheepdog had a disagreement on what the best game of all time is. Me saying BioShock, him saying Final Fantasy 7, I think it was you said, or 8, or whichever one you were fighting for at the time. If we were to have that conversation again now, when I was to go into both of those games with a blank slate, and you just showed me them and I knew nothing about either of them, I wouldn't even try BioShock because I don't touch shooting games anymore. I would have one look at that. Yeah, but that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is these days I wouldn't even play BioShock, where I'd look at the Final Fantasy one and be like, okay, and probably play it through and really enjoy it. So I've just gone full reversal over the 10 years or so that this podcast has been going.
We can retire now. I won the argument. It took a decade of recording every week, but that's how you win an argument, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Well, I guess I have to go and do it. What I'll do when I'm finished with Xenoblade Chronicles, which will probably be like June, because there's 3 massive games to play through, and goodness me, I've even bought the DLC for this already. It's 30 quid. I don't know what I've bought, but I spent another 30 quid on, from what I can tell, different costumes, and there might be some DLC at some point. But it was just like they deserve to have more of my money. It wasn't expensive enough. I'm upset that it was too cheap. The fact that you can buy...
You spent £20 on costumes, did you say?
Swimsuits.
I wish. Yep.
Kevin!
But, PlayStation games are 70 quid. This was like 35. It's not acceptable. They need to charge more for it. It's so good. It's not acceptable that it was too cheap. But yeah, I'm apparently the JRPG guy now. I've gone so far into this. Here's another one for you, Pabby. You're going to get another me being annoyed you for not telling me about a game at some point, because I was reading through my Persona 5 manga, and there was an advert in the back for the manga for Nier Automata.
Shut up.
I was like, what is this Nier Automata? They've got a manga for this as well. And I looked it up, and I was like, this looks all right. So I went onto Amazon, and this is his confession time as well, because I've rebought Persona 5 Royal.
Kevin.
I've got it on Switch now as well, because there was a bundle deal on Amazon. I think it was 55, 60 quid to get Persona 5 Royal and Nier Automata on Switch. So I've got both of them sat there on my to-play list as well, the Switch versions. So, the manga forced me to do that one, Pabby.
My Discord buddies have all been talking about Nier. Is it Automata?
Automata.
Automata. Yes, that's how I'd read it. But in my accent, it was Nier Automata.
Yeah, it's
Automatas.
It's more like
tomato.
It's from Platinum, who make Bayonetta.
Apparently, it has a fantastic soundtrack.
Yeah,
I've been told on
really
stream.
Does.
Everyone
really
was saying that.
But it is from Platinum, who make Bayonetta. Is it?
See, but I've got Bayonetta 2 and 3 on my to-do list as well.
Something like that. I can't remember.
I've got so much to play. I really need, if everyone could go on my Patreon and go in for $1,000 a month, so I could just have a year off doing anything constructive and just get caught up on my pile of shame. That'd be really helpful, because I just don't have time to play all these games. And the fact that I'm now moving towards these games that are 100 hours long. That's really inconvenient. I wish I could still get the same pleasure out of an 8-hour Bioshock, but they just don't scratch my itch anymore. I want these sprawling RPG experiences, and it's really inconvenient.
I could do all our listeners just using their Amazon Prime subs to go Prime sub to me on Twitch, so that I could just do the same, retire and play games all the time.
Well, I told him not to do that to you the other day. Someone came into my chat and said, Sheepdog says he'll do a rap if he gets to 250 subs. Tell everyone to sub. And I said, no, I don't want to hear him rap. Everyone should cancel their subs and sub to me.
I didn't say that they should tell anyone that. Like, I can't remember why that got into a discussion. They wanted me to do the poker rap, and I said I'm saving that for like a time when I'm at like some sort of milestone. I said, and then I off the cuff said if I ever got to like 250 subs, I'd do the poker rap. But it wasn't like this is the challenge, everybody, let's get going. It was more of I'm not doing it effectively because let's face it, that's never going to happen. But I'm surprised someone went into your chat. I could probably guess who it was, and they didn't need to do that.
Don't worry, the message was unsubscribe from you, so don't worry. It hasn't gotten you any closer to the rap.
Good. Is that your list?
That was my list, yeah. Stray, 2 Point Campus, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Right, well, I tried to be not a little bit pabby, but like I was being tactical with my fifth choice here because I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm going to start with honourable mentions, to be fair, because like Kev, I don't want to make excuses because I did actually find that I played quite a lot of new games or new releases this year. I just didn't feel like many of them warranted being put on a top 5 for the best game of the year. Things like Let's Build a Zoo, that was fun, but it's not game of the year. Live a Live, I played it quite a bit, but I haven't got very far in it. It's quite deep. Or Live Alive, because I can't say it, I was like, it doesn't deserve to be on the list. I need to have a name that's easier for me to know. Is it Live Alive? Who knows?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Nobody knows. So I then looked back at what I'd actually played and what hours I put into games. And I was like, well, I've spent most of the year playing Hollow Knight, unless it's Pokemon. And I can't vote for that because it came out in, I think, 2018. But I want to mention it because, honestly, I know I've already said it, but a fantastic game. Loved it to bits. Cannot wait for the sequel to come out. I don't think I'd have ever played a game that made me feel challenged as much as this one did, as hard as this one is, as ridiculous as this one is, as repetitive as this one is. But I bloody loved it. I miss it. I find myself doodling from it. I talk about it regularly with people that I know who like it. I've got a t-shirt of it. I went and bought a Hollow Knight t-shirt because I was like, yes, absolutely. I drew a cool picture of it at one point when I got my iPad and I was trying to practice drawing. Well into it. Cannot wait for the sequel to come out, but I can't nominate it because it wasn't out this year. I made a mistake thinking Guardians of the Galaxy had came out after we did last year's show or towards the end of the year last year. And it came out, I think, in October, or maybe earlier.
I nominated it last year, so
yeah. I remembered it being talked about around that time. I loved it. I played it a lot as well. Obviously, I completed it. I kind of played that. I slow burned that. I played it every Sunday. It was my Sunday afternoon. I'd sit and play it for 3 hours and just enjoyed it. I enjoyed it to the fullest extent. I explored it and everything. And I was sort of, I couldn't remember. I was like, that was December, January time I started that, and I didn't know, and it didn't count. So yeah, lots of games like that. I'm not going to keep going through it, but the ultimate point was I played a lot of games that didn't count. So then I was looking at games I'd played that did count, that I'd put a lot of hours into, that I could put in the 5th place slot that I kind of felt were worthy of being there. And I tried to be tactical here. I thought, if Pab's going to start cheating, I'm going to put him in a position where I've put a game down that means if he gets any 2s, this just muddies the water. I'm just going to throw sand in Pab's face. So I've put down Football Manager 2023, thinking Kev would vote for it, and I would sneak a Pab with a 2. But it didn't happen. So unlucky me. Now, I only put that on there.
I actually forgot about that when I was doing mine. I probably could have put that in somewhere, just forgot it existed.
Now, I know what you always say. It's always the best one I've ever done. The only disappointment in this one was obviously that they didn't do enough. They didn't do anything for internationals. They didn't fix any major things. They have done a big update recently because certain big YouTubers, fancy pants people, did a big rant about it and convinced them to release a patch. But Yeah, I've actually played this more than I thought. Like, I'm not saying I've hammered it, but I've played it, and I played a good World Cup run in it. That was fun. Did a couple of streams on it now, and yeah, it's Football Manager. I just thought, do you know what? It's worthy of being put on there. I put enough hours into it to warrant the fact I got it from Game Pass. I didn't even pay for it particularly, other than my Game Pass sub. But if I had paid for it, I've got my money's worth. It's been fun. It's Football Manager.
God, I should have put FIFA on as well. That's another thing that existed. I forgot about both of them. Genuinely, I'm not even being silly. I forgot about Football Manager and FIFA. They're not even games in my head.
They just work for you now, aren't they? They're just life.
Yeah.
I was going to try and jokingly tell Anna to put it down, but when she was like, I haven't got a fifth, I was like, Anna, it literally pays for your life. Like, you should be worshipping at the altar of Sports Interactive. But I was pleased because I didn't think anyone else was going to put this one down, and I really loved it. I played a lot of it. I streamed a lot of it, and I genuinely think it's a great game. But I was like, I'm going to feel like an idiot when I put this on my list, and everyone goes, Sheepdog, what are you doing? But I put 2 Point Campus on my list, and then Kev did. So,
it was great.
It was great. And I just didn't think, I don't know, I just thought Football Manager got a space on yours. You probably had other games. So I'm delighted that actually got recognised because it is great. I really loved it. One game no one mentioned, and I don't think this is a weird pick, because I've played this since, God, I want to say, I can't remember when it came out. Since the day it came out, middle of the year, through to today. But I've been playing Disney Dreamlight Valley with my son literally daily until recently when we got all the characters, and now we're on it daily again because there's new characters. He absolutely loves it. I love it because he loves it. I've loved it because it's a little like Animal Crossing style game. It's, it's endless fun. There's always something to do in it. And the amount of joy it's given my little 5-year-old, and while I've been playing it, do you know what I mean? It's not that he's playing it and I'm sat there, I'm playing it and he's sat next to me having the time of his life. So it'd be wrong for me to not include it in my Game of the Year list, because Disney have done a good job on this. They're like putting their name to this, and it's free to play. So I mean, you can pay for premium stuff, but if you've never touched it, get it, especially if you've got kids. If you've got a 5-year-old especially, they're going to love it. You'll have to do all the work, because I'm assuming...
Oh, yes, you will.
Yeah. Most 5-year-olds can't particularly read, but it's not too hard. And to put into context how much I like this, Ben accidentally new game does. He clicked new game instead of continue, and he deleted our save. I could have got around this. I didn't realise there was a way to stop this from happening, but he did that to us about, I don't know, a month in. And rather than being upset about it, I was quite like, do you know what? Yeah, that's good. It means that I can, because he'd had a bit of a go at it, and he'd put like Wally's house in a weird place and stuff like that. And it meant I could do a bit of renovating and redo the town from the ground up. And I think for the first few weeks, I'd left him to it, and I just helped him read what stuff was and left him playing it. But when we did new game, he wanted me to control everything, and now we've got a tight ship, and it's running pretty well. And I knew what characters to invest in early, like Moana, who will catch you loads of fish that you can then flog and make loads of money from and stuff like that. So yeah, we played it. We had to start again, and we still enjoyed it, and it's still going. And yeah, it warrants its place. So they're the three that are kind of third, fourth, and fifth. Maybe not even in that order. They're not Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. They're not Legends Arceus. Both of them, very, very happy. They're going to be my votes. I feel like I'm conflicted because, like Kev said, Legends Arceus, I don't know how to say it, was their first kind of foray into doing a slightly different mainstream game. It was, new to the kind of open-ish world map and changing the style up. And I love the fact that they were doing this whole historic thing where it was like giving a bit of lore, giving a bit more story, being the first people to do a Pokedex and that kind of thing. I feel like I want to encourage them to do more of that. So I feel like everyone should get this and buy this and heap praise on it, because they really need to do more games like this. But then I just feel like they learned what people wanted, and with Scarlet and Violet, they've made changes to the system, they've made changes to the series. Obviously, there are some technical difficulties. They have been patching it as we go along. I kind of feel like I don't know what the cause of them are. I don't have a problem. Like Kev said, I don't have a problem with part of me doesn't even remember a time it's actually affected me at all in the game. I don't think I've had any issues that have affected me. Yes, because Pab mentioned it, I noticed background people being a bit clunky sometimes. I think it's quite entertaining when that happens. I'm not really fussed by it. but I've never had a problem happen where I've had to restart the game. Or I think Ollie had it randomly tell him that he had an issue and he needed to restart, but it auto saved where he was, and I genuinely couldn't tell whether that was his
I had
Switch.
one crash when I was playing through Scarlet, like 30 hours into Scarlet. I went through all of Violet with no problem. I had one crash on Scarlet and was worried it would have deleted my save, because apparently that's one of the things. It'll crash and delete your save.
Wow.
But it just loaded it back up and it was fine.
Yeah, Ollie had that. I mean, Ollie had a thing a few years back where his Switch just like died and deleted everything, and I had to send it off and they replaced it. So I thought that was happening when his went funny. I was like, oh god, but it was fine again. I guess there's probably plenty of people on the internet who have said that's happened to them, and I'm not saying they're not. They're completely valid to be annoyed by that, 100%. But it's one of those things, isn't it, where you can see 10,000 people. I mean, it's probably not that many people. Let's say it was 10,000 people complaining. You'd be like, well, it doesn't happen to you. It doesn't happen to you, does it? So for me, this game has run perfectly smoothly. Like Kev, I completed Scarlet, although he did Violet, and then I immediately started Violet. He started Scarlet, and I am streaming Violet at the moment, and I'm really enjoying it. It doesn't feel like, oh, I've already played this. It feels quicker. I think it's because I know what I'm doing, but it feels very quick compared to Scarlet. But the fact that I've put probably I put over 100 hours into Scarlet, and I've done most of the gyms and all of the Titans and half of the Team Star stuff in Violet. So I'm probably looking at 130 hours on this gen already. And it's not often that I loaded up Scarlet earlier just to run around and see if I could catch any shinies and stuff like that. Just do random raids and bits. I don't normally do that. I don't normally just play it, even though I've already got all the Pokemon. Even though I've got everything, I'm just looking for the odd bit of here and there. I just like being in it, and I didn't do that with Legends Arceus. I didn't keep loading that up to run around. Although, again, I would, if they announced they were doing DLC for either of these tomorrow, I'd be so delighted. And if they announced they were doing a sequel to Legends, I'd be excited. I just didn't feel the need. Once I was done with Legends, I was done with it. There wasn't another version for me to go and play. There wasn't anything for me to do. Whereas, Scarlet and Violet, I feel like I just keep dipping into them, and perhaps that's because it's only been a couple of weeks, whereas Legends I played over a month or so. But I am very conflicted about which one of these I want to be my top one. I feel like they're both joint first at the moment for me, and we'll just see what happens with the rest of the vote.
Yeah, well, I'm having a look through the voting here, and as you could expect, there was no correlation between Anna and Pab than me and Sheepdog. But interestingly, each half of the draw has got 3 games on 2 votes each. So on the Anna and Pab side, there's 2 votes each for Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Tinykin, because Pab cheated. And on the Cool Dude side with Sheepdog, there is 2 votes for 2 Point Campus, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So to me, the fairest way to get towards a top 4 is me and Sheepdog agree on which 2 we want to put forward. Anna and Pab agree on which 2 they want to put forward, and that becomes our final 4. That seems very fair. Does anyone have an objection to that?
Well, I don't know what. I don't think there should be 2 Pokemon games on this list. This is what I'm going to say to Sheepdog. I would propose that we only put one of the 2 Pokemon in and have 2 Point Campus as the other, because otherwise the 2 Pokemon are going to split the vote.
I feel like we should rub Pab's nose in it and put them both there.
Can I say?
Go on, Pab.
Arceus is now number 6.
Oh.
It's literally in the brackets next to Tinykin.
Interesting.
Because I think that one is the better game. It does something completely different.
Yeah, I was leaning that way. I think the problem I've got is obviously I'm playing Scarlet and Violet at the moment, so it's got that kind of recency bias in me. But I don't know something you just said. While I was thinking about the game, I thought of the noise it makes when it loads up, and I just felt this like, oh no, that's definitely the winner. Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's definitely the best. It was just the vibe of it. Everything like about it.
When you catch the Pokemon in the ball and it makes a little firework comes out.
Yeah.
I thought that was very cool.
It was an end-to-end kind of vibe. They had to rebuild everything. They had to do the firewall balls, the music, the villages. I think you've convinced me without even really having to go through it there. That because like Scarlet and Violet is genuinely amazing, but they didn't have to do as much legwork on kind of creating. The world's not exactly the draw. Even I would say if you were comparing, even though the world's open in Scarlet and Violet, I almost wish it had the detail of even Sword and Shield or the Alola region in Gen 7. It doesn't feel like it has that much kind of like Paldea's not a place that because when Sword and Shield came out, I was really looking forward to the anime doing a Sword and Shield kind of Ash Ketchum going to the Galarian region to have a look around, and those episodes were quite fun. But I can't really imagine him going to Paldea. It'll be like, he'll wander around. The wild areas are the best bits about that. I don't feel like an Area Zero. I don't feel like him going to. I can't even name the towns. Whereas I feel like Legends Arceus had really purpose-built areas that were quite thought through, and I don't know. Everything.
So it sounds like we're locking in Arceus.
Yeah.
Are we happy to lock in 2 Point Campus alongside it, or are you really going to fight for a second Pokemon game?
No, I mean I'm happy for 2 Point to go in. I feel like your logic's sound. I feel like it would be nice
I'm happy with that.
It would be nice to poke Pab in the eye by having 2 on there. I feel like just to spite him, but no, I feel like 2 Point is the amicable thing to do.
Okay, so that leaves you two to decide which 2 of your 3 are getting the other 2 spots. So you've got Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, and Tinykin.
How strong do you feel about Tinykin, Anna?
Oh, a lot, because it's like one of the only
more
games
than
I
Horizon?
finished. Yes. I enjoyed that far more than Horizon.
What's it going with Tinykin and God of War?
Horizon than God of War, but I know Anna likes God of War, and I don't mind God of War. And I really like Tinykin. I'm not going to fight.
This feels like we've got our top 4 then. So our top 4, which we're going to vote on in a second, Pokemon Legends Arceus, 2 Point Campus, Tinykin, and God of War Ragnarok. Are we all happy with that as a 4? This will be the vote that goes onto Twitter as well, boys and girls.
Is 4 the limit on Twitter?
Yes.
I'm just trying to sneak another Pokemon game in, aren't I? Yeah, no, I think that seems... So what was it? Tinykin, God of War, 2 Point, and Pokemon. I feel like that's going to be a God of War versus Pokemon for the listeners, surely.
Well, I guess we'll find out. Not that their vote even matters. So, I guess it's tricky because, Pab, I guess you've played all 4.
I've not played 2 Point, but I know what it is.
Anna, how many of them have you played?
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Pokemon Legends Arceus, 2
No.
Point Campus, Tinykin, and God of War Ragnarok. So you've only played 2 of them.
3.
Oh, you've played 2 Point as well?
Yes.
Oh, Pokemon's getting wrecked here. Oh, mind you, Pab's played that as well. Right, let's just vote, I guess. Me and Sheepdog will have to make it up for the 2 we've not played. I've played the first God of War, so I've got a bit of a feel for that. But we just put them in order. So we can go back around the table in the same order we did before, and you can put the 4 of them in your preferred order, and we'll apply the point system.
This isn't what?
We've got 4 games. You put them in order of which is the best, or worst to best, however you want to do it. So Pokemon Legends Arceus, 2 Point Campus, Tinykin, God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah, that's the way that's mine.
Oh, that is your order.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Legends Arceus, you've got bottom.
Yep.
And then 2 Point Campus.
Yep.
So I'm putting this into a spreadsheet as I do this, so we might not need the help adding up, but I get confused. And then Tinykin and God of War Ragnarok is Anna's favourite one. Okay, so that's Anna's
Arceus. I think you might like it because it's not like old games.
I don't really play the Switch. I don't really like it. I just find it really awkward to use. I don't know why. I find it too big for my hands.
Play it docked.
No, I don't really like. Then I have to squint to read it. I don't.
What were Anna's top 2? Sorry.
What?
Tinykin and Ragnarok.
So Pab, what's your order? From worst to best.
2 Point Campus, simply because I haven't played it. I know what it is, but not really my thing. Then it would be Arceus. Then it would be Tinykin, and then God of War Ragnarok.
Okey-doke. I based on the fact I had never heard of Tinykin, we'll put that in last place, then God of War, and then 2 Point Campus and Pokemon Legends Arceus.
You'll come back
as
next
my
week
favourite.
and want to put Tinykin at
I
the
might
top.
well do,
Yeah,
in which case I'm
me
happy to
again.
change history. Yeah, it'll be Pab's fault. And Sheepdog.
I'm trying to
Good
look
game.
at what Tinykin looks like, but I keep writing Tonykin in. Tonykin is
What
Tiny.
does Tinykin look
A
like?
crossword clear
Tinykin.
He's on LinkedIn and Facebook. Let's have a look at what he does for a living. Oh, he's a big
This is
fella.
a decider, isn't it?
Tonykin. Anyway, I think the only way I'm going to strategically be able to do this is to put God of War last. Put Tinykin second from last because I haven't played it, and it looks, I did find it and it looks like it'll be fun. I'm going to get it. Obviously put 2 Point, the next one along the list. I forgot where I am, second, and then Legends first.
Which means we have ties, multiple ties. In a tie for joint last place, we have 2 Point Campus and Tinykin, and as a tie for first place, we have Pokemon's Legend Arceus and God of War Ragnarok. And there's just no way we can possibly resolve this unless anyone wants to change their order, which is cheating. So I think we're going to have to declare a joint winner for the year of Pokemon's Legend Arceus and God of War Ragnarok,
Yay.
which seems like such a cop-out.
How?
I'm going to have to go and play God of War.
There's
Because
four-
we're saying the Game of War is the Game of the Year is two different games.
Yeah, but there's 4 of us. There's no way to have like a deciding vote. So
Yeah, so
yay.
I tell you what we could do. We could let the listeners decide, but that doesn't bode well for Pokemon. Or we could make an effort over the next week before we do the Zeitgeist to play the games on the lists that we haven't already played and see if it changes our minds.
Thank you. I'm all right.
I don't have a way to play God of War Ragnarok, to be fair. but-
You don't.
Well, I
Like,
guess.
you've got.
Oh, is it on
PS4?
PS4?
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, as
I don't
much
want
as
to play
it
it because I
pains
think I'll
me,
like
then.
it.
Yeah, as much as it pains me, we're gonna
I'll end
have
up
to
loving
put
it. and I don't
the
want to.
we're gonna have to put the deciding vote in the hands of the listeners.
I
So
don't
the
know what
listeners,
they're talking about.
I know they're idiots, aren't they? But they
Don't
are
be
gonna.
mean.
You've met some of them.
Don't suck
for
up
goodness
to
sake.
them for votes, aren't
Lovely.
they?
Yeah,
They can't
they
be
are.
bought. They're far too clever to be bought off by your.
I mean, let's face it
kissing.
though, they won't figure it out. They're a bit thick as well. But
Don't be mean.
Well-
That's horrible. Kate. What is wrong with you today?
Annie, you've
kissing
met
their ass.
several
You've
of them.
just been horrible all day today.
Only when the listeners deserve it, and this is a situation. But basically, I'm preempting what I know they're going to do, so they deserve everything they're getting because of what they're about to do. They know what they're doing, and they're going to do it deliberately. So I may as well pick on them anyway. But yeah, we'll confirm the overall winner next week based on the listener vote. But as it stands at the moment, it is a draw between Pokemon Legends Arceus and God of War Ragnarok, or as I've written on the spreadsheet, God of Ragnarok, which is probably a different game entirely. There you go. I've corrected that. And that, boys and girls, is your lot for the Game of the Year, the official Game of the Year 2022. No other Game of the Year awards count. Next week, as intimated a couple of times, we have got the best podcast we release all year, assuming there is one. I haven't actually checked there's a Google Zeitgeist list this year, but presumably there will be. The Google Zeitgeist Review of the Year Show 2022. Pab will cheat. And that's just how it always goes, because Pab is a cheat. He's probably been making notes all year,
Oh, I'm gonna
paying
make
attention
notes
to the
this week.
news all year like a scumbag. Look at me, paying attention to the world around me. You cheat, Pab.
Whereas I literally rely on my very leaky memory of just things I picked up on, and as we've learned over the past decade, I don't read the same thing that the rest of the world seems to read.
Yeah,
So
and it's not fair, Kevin. I won't grab a Penton. I can't even remember where I lived the other day. I went
That
to
is
the
true.
chemist, right? Went to pick up my thing.
Don't say our address
I won't.
here, so
I was
know what you're
there.
about
I
to
said
say.
my old address quite confidently, and she just stared at me, and I was like, "What is that?" She's like, "It's not what I was here." Then I gave her a new address that was a combination of my new address and my old address. Still wouldn't give it me. I could not remember where I lived. So
we're not the
yeah,
best people to be reviewing the year, but somehow we do it every year, and it is our best. It's our funnest one. So tune in next week.
If you like long dead air pauses as well, next week's show is for you, boys and girls. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good
Merry
week.
Christmas.
Thanks, Leslie.
Humbug.